Too many bedrooms are full of hidden toxic items, things that all of us have in our bedroom. We don't even give it a second thought. But they're not only messing with our sleep, they're messing with our breathing and even worse, our health. Today I'm sharing 6 toxic bedroom items that you should declutter immediately. I know that you have some of these items in your home. I've looked at some of the research and surveys, and I know that people still are using these things in their bedroom, which is the place where we spend a third of our life. This first one is very common, and so I'm gonna tell you, if you have these and you're using them, you need to get rid of them and don't even buy them. It's if you're using wrinkle-free sheets. These are sometimes called wrinkle-free. They're called permanent press, non-iron, easy care. These types of sheets are treated with, are you ready for it? Formaldehyde. Formaldehyde is a known cancer-causing chemical. It is known. And I'm going to put this research up so you can see, and I'll also link it below. The National Cancer Institute research studies of workers that were exposed to formaldehyde suggests an association between exposure and several cancers, including nasopharyngeal cancer and leukemia. So, to me, knowing this, I don't want to be snuggled up to formaldehyde in my sheets all night long. But a lot of people are doing this because there was a survey done by Cotton Inc., and they found that 74% of customers were likely to buy wrinkle-free sheets. And you know what? When I see that, I think, oh yeah, sure, wrinkle-free. I would like wrinkle-free sheets. But at what cost? I would look for sheets in natural fibers. I know linen is probably harder, but you know, they've got organic cotton or bamboo. I think they have mulberry now. There's all kinds of different sheets. I have bamboo ones. I can link them. Even better if you can get some sort of certification like the Ocotec certification, that's great. I also definitely don't recommend any synthetic sheets like microfiber or anything like that. I know those feel really soft, but those are made from petrochemicals. Those have chemicals in them and they're creating microplastics. And again, you don't want to be sleeping 8 or 9 hours wrapped up in that stuff. Speaking of synthetic materials, I actually have a video on synthetic clothing coming up soon. If you want to see that, make sure you're subscribed so you don't miss it. While we're talking about what we're being wrapped up in all night long, I have to talk about what I'm sitting on, and that's your bed. Okay, so this is a new bed, and I will say my previous bed was 16 years old. I didn't realize that beds generally only last 8 to 10 years. But I will say, earlier this year, before I replaced it, I was waking up with back pain. I am getting older, so I thought, okay, maybe this is just how it is. But let me tell you, it was bad back pain, and it would immediately stop after I stood up and walked around. And when I went to go visit some family and I was sleeping in their bed, I noticed that I didn't have any back pain. So I kind of put 2 and 2 together and I figured out it was the bed. And I'll also link a study that says this exact thing. I mean, I didn't really need a study to know that this is what was causing it. But essentially, this study shows that older mattresses are linked to back pain. These mattresses lose their support, they get dust and bacteria, and I'm going to tell you, even more concerning, and this is one of the big reasons why I switched my bed, is that a lot of beds are designed with flame retardants. That being said, this gets me to the sponsor of today's video, and that is Birch Mattress. I want to say a huge thank you to them. They have sponsored several of my other videos, so I'm super excited to talk to you about them. Birch Living makes fiberglass-free mattresses and sleep products, and they also make them without that polyurethane foam. You may be wondering why fiberglass is in a bed. I saw this article over the summer, and I'm going to link it because you've got to see it to believe it. This woman tried to clean her polyurethane foam mattress, and she opened it up, and guess what? The fiberglass escaped. It was all over her room. She now has to wear PPE gear just to go in her bedroom. I'm not even sure what she's doing today about this. And to think that we're all sleeping on something like this, it's kind of too much. A lot of mattresses have fiberglass in them because it was added as a flame retardant. But what's different about Birch is they actually use wool that's naturally flame retardant. So they use things like organic wool, organic cotton, 100% natural latex. They use nice natural materials that I feel good about sleeping on. And if you're at all like me, I do find the process of choosing a mattress to be very overwhelming. I think that's one of the big reasons why I just never looked into it before. But what I love about Birch is they've got their natural mattress and they have their Luxe natural mattress. I ended up getting the Birch Luxe natural mattress. It's got a plush pillow top, and then I did add a natural pillow topper as well. I like my bed pretty soft, but not too soft because, the back pain. And what I really like, I am actually in the certification industry. I've been in the certification industry for over 20 years. That's my professional career. I really like that they have a number of certifications. I'm going to put them on the screen, but they've got Green Guard, Fair Trade certification. I personally feel very good about certifications. I look for these. These are third party coming in and saying, yes, this meets these high standards. So I like that a lot. So if you're in the market, you're looking for a sustainable, healthy mattress, I highly recommend Birch Living. It's back to school season right now. They've got the kids natural mattress. That's probably going to be my next investment, honestly. I'm also going to put up a code. Birch gave me a great code for you, and I'm going to have it linked below. It's 27% off. Last time I worked with Birch, I had a lot of you reach out to me telling me how much you loved the mattress, so I'm so happy to hear that. Okay, number 3 of the things that are in your room, and this is a really sneaky one because I know a lot of people do this. The thing that could be harming your health, and I think you should declutter it, is if you are storing things in plastic under your bed. A lot of those storage bins are made from PVC, which is a type of plastic, and it off gases and creates these volatile organic compounds that you are then breathing in. If you have this under your bed, it is definitely off gassing and you're breathing it all night while you're sleeping. And you're breathing this in because you can smell it. The general rule is that the softer the plastic, the more off gassing happens. So if you've got something like PVC or that soft plastic, it's off gassing more than, say, acrylic, which is a lot harder. A lot of us like to store things under our bed, of course. If you have them, I'm going to suggest you either get them out of your bedroom or consider using different ways to store your stuff, maybe in fabric, wicker, something a bit more natural, that if you're going to have it right under your bed where you're sleeping, you don't want to breathe it. Okay, number 4, I feel strongly about, and I've talked about it in other videos, and you're probably going to be wondering why I'm talking about it in a bedroom video. But this thing follows you to bed. If you are still using laundry products with synthetic fragrances, I'm going to tell you to stop. When you're sleeping and you're smelling all of that, you're smelling this 24/7. If you use things like fabric softener, dryer sheets, scent boosters, even detergent, these are loaded with synthetic fragrances. It is incredibly bad for your health. And what happens is it gets on your sheets, it gets in your pajamas, and then it gets on your skin. It triggers allergies, asthma, worse, cancer. And dryer sheets in particular contain something called quats. I've talked about them in a video maybe a year ago at this point, but those are very dangerous. Look for detergents that are fragrance-free. You want them to be labeled fragrance-free, not unscented, because they trick you. They call it unscented, but then they've put stuff in it to mask the smell. So you want fragrance-free. I'll link a couple good ones below if you're looking, but I would also say wool dryer balls. I use these. I love them, and they are supremely helpful. I haven't used a dryer sheet in 10 years. Okay, moving on to number 5, and this one, maybe you think it's not a big deal, but it does have some depth to it that I will explain. But it's if you're sleeping and on your nightstand, you've got personal care products. And I'm just going to tell you the ones that are the worst, and you just do not want these next to your bed. It is things like nail polish remover, hair products, hairsprays, that kind of a thing. Even lotions and perfumes often have the fragrance in them. They have preservatives in them. But here's the thing. When these bottles are sitting next to you, and even when they're closed, they are emitting fumes. Because all of these contain solvents, right? Basically, it evaporates into the air, and then guess where it goes? You breathe it in. It goes into your lungs, into your bloodstream. Probably out of all the ones I'm sharing today, this one is the easiest fix. I'm just going to tell you, get those products off your nightstand. Put them in the bathroom. Don't sleep with them there. Okay, number 6. This one is bad, and there's a couple layers to it, and I'm going to link a study about it as well, because this isn't one that you can declutter per se, but you can easily fix it. I'm going to give you the simplest fix, but I want you to know how bad it is. The toxic thing in your bedroom when you're sleeping is actually light. Before you scratch your head, I'm going to put this study up, because sleeping for only one night with a dim light, like a TV set or, maybe some alarm clocks that have light on them, raised the blood sugar and heart rate of healthy young people participating in a sleep lab experiment. The dim light entered the eyelids, disrupted sleep despite that, they're sleeping with their eyes closed, and their heart rate was raised. And the problem here is, and I'm just going to tell you, when you sleep, if you ever wear like a Fitbit or something like that, you know this, your heart rate slows. And this happens so that your body can repair itself, so that your brain can rejuvenate itself. When your heart rate doesn't slow and you're sleeping with an elevated heart rate, it is a risk factor for future heart disease, diabetes, death. And actually, even before I knew about this study, a couple of years ago, I had seen a study that sleeping with a light on actually causes weight gain. And that kind of scared me into action. So I really took steps to minimize all light in my bedroom. But just something to keep in mind, there's a lot of negative consequences of having light. You may think it's not a big deal, but they're showing that it is. So I'm going to tell you what I do in my house, and I'm also going to tell you what I did when I was traveling this summer, because every room that I was sleeping in, they had insufficient curtains, number one, or there was an AC unit that had a really bright light on it. But guess what? Simple fix. I simply got myself an eye mask. This eye mask honestly saved my life this summer. I'll link this one if I can find it. I like it because it's light. It doesn't really press your face. I mean, they have weighted ones. I don't like weighted things, so I like this one. If you have light coming into your bedroom when you're sleeping, I highly recommend getting an eye mask. You could also get blackout curtains. That's what I did in my kids' room, and that helps a lot. So, something to consider, but I would definitely recommend, if you are getting any light at night, take steps now to minimize it. Okay, guys, thank you so much for watching, and don't forget to check out Birch and their awesome code that they gave us. And if you want to keep on watching, I did do another previous toxic bedroom video that has other items in it. I think these items are very important, plus the 6 I've shared today. And listen, it's not meant to scare you. When we know better, we can do better. We can make simple swaps, and it's going to dramatically improve our health outcomes. I'll see you next time. Bye-bye.